Good Podcast.
Hey ladies and gents, this is Brianna Javon with What's Good Podcast, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. This is actually episode number 8, super excited about it, and so let's get into it. As you know, I don't have interviews, instead I have genuine conversations, and so let's go ahead and introduce the guest for today. We have Kim Duplessis. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's so good to hear. And so, how I usually get started is with an icebreaker, just to, get the mood, calm down some nerves, and we can get to know who you are by some of the answers too.
Okay.
All right, so your icebreaker that I chose, if you could choose your age forever, what age would you choose and why?
Oh gosh. I would have to say 16.
Why 16?
Might not be. I don't know. Maybe 21.
21?
Maybe 21.
Okay.
21, I guess for everyone is the start of adulthood. But for myself, I actually graduated high school at the age of 16. So by the age of 21, I had already, started college, started paying bills, started working and doing different things. So I think by that time, I probably would have done some things differently from the age of 16 to 21. So at the age of 21, I think I probably would have, I don't know, maybe been a millionaire by now or something. but I just think that was a really good age. Not for drinking, not for smoking. It wasn't any of that. I don't do too much of that.
Okay.
But just, I don't know. I think that was maybe my turning point.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. And so, as you guys know, this season is about Black love and Black businesses. I actually met Kim at a vendor expo. And when she told me about her product, I immediately thought, okay, you and your husband going into business, and it was like a smack in my face. She was like, no, it's me and my kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's super dope. So this is the reason why I brought her on to this show, because she's running a family business. It's with her kids, the product at that. I'm like, how did you even think about something like that for a female? And so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about your family business and how did you come up with it?
All right. Well, it started, prior to this business, I had a bath bomb business. Wasn't doing too well. What I learned from that, though, is you cannot live into anybody else's vision. You have to live into your vision. What happened was, there was a lady that I came across networking, and she's like, with everything that I do, I don't have time to do bath bombs, and a lot of my clientele ask for it. If you want to network and collab, if you do that, I'll send you all my clientele when they ask for bath bombs. So I was like, okay, cool. It was, just starting to move. I had just moved to Dallas. So I was like, okay, well, that might be the start of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
Did not receive not one client from this individual, but I started to try and push it, made a web page, got onto social media, different things, and it did okay. So trying to get off a lot of the products, because I was like, okay, well, this isn't for me. What's for me? I had run a sale. And at work, I had some people that would purchase things and stuff like that. So one of the men had asked me, he's like, hey, what do you have for men? And I kind of startled. I was like, I don't have anything for men. I say, but my son's like this particular fragrance, or I just have aromatherapy. I mean, if you like taking a bath, you're more than welcome to,
right.
You're more than welcome to get one or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my turning point. After I had run that sale, I went home and I was like, what do I have for men? Why are men? Yeah, I was like, why are, men so excluded in a lot of the businesses that we run, things I see. Outside of things that are the edible businesses, cakes and cookies, pies, whatever.
Right.
I was like, what type of businesses do we have that cater to men? So I was like, okay, single mother of 2 boys, what could we do?
Right.
So I just started brainstorming. This was probably March of 2019. And so I started brainstorming, moving in silence. And I came up with the idea probably within like a week or 2.
That was fast.
But I didn't do anything. I didn't launch my business until I got my webpage up and running, until I started my social media pages. And I think I launched, I want to say mid-July. So I've kind of been doing it since March of 19, but I didn't launch anything until July of 19.
Got it. Do you think that previous business helped you create the new business?
I do think so. I learned what to do, what not to do, how to move, how not to move, and just different things. So I did learn from that business. But again, like I said, you can't live into anybody else's vision. You have to do something that you want to do, that you'll truly live into, and be able to prosper from that point.
I like it. And so the name, let's talk about the name and how it was created. Because when I heard, I was like, oh, that's cute.
There's really no meaning behind it. It's just, most people or most men like to be called Zaddy. So when I decided that I was going to do a beard product, I was like, okay, well, Zaddy's beards, they like to be called Zaddy. So since we're coming out with a product that's going to cater to the men, why not cater to Zaddies?
Nice. And so, like you mentioned, with your 2 sons being involved as well, what were their opinions and different things that they helped out with getting Zaddy's beards together?
Not too much. I had a lot that I had to do on my own, as far as seeking my vendors, creating the scents that I wanted, getting different men at work to try the product, to kind of do smell testing. Hey, what do you like? What do you not like? But they are hands-on. They attend a lot of vendor events with me, and as I order my product from my vendor, it comes to me unlabeled. So they'll help label. If I have an order, they'll help package the orders and different things like that. So they are hands-on, a little bit, not too much. My older one more so, but yeah, they'll help get stuff like that together.
That's cool. Do you think with them seeing their mother as an entrepreneur, having her side business and things of that nature, kind of helps them get in the mindset of having their own businesses?
It does. My oldest is, he'll be 14 next month, and December, he told me, he's like, Mom, by December of 2020, I want a food truck.
Oh.
And I was like, are you sure? And he loves being in the kitchen. So I was like, okay, well, he's not asking for $1 million pair of shoes or whatever. He's asking something that he can continue to do. He's asking for something that he can, continue to do if cooking is a passion for him. Not that I mind buying tennis or anything like that, but it's something that's going to grow with him.
Right.
So I told him, I said, as long as you do all of the background work, because I don't want a food truck. You go and figure out what licenses you need. You start researching the truck prices and just how to get your name, how to prepare your LLC. I mean, I know those things, but if this is something he wants, then he needs to learn it. Yeah, he needs to learn it on his own. So for my oldest one, yes, he's a true businessman.
That's so nice. And so I know we had a conversation before. You mentioned that you were from New Orleans. Why make that decision to come here? Was it due to Katrina, or it was after Katrina you was like, let me just move from New Orleans? How did that happen?
Born and raised, I love my city. So no, actually what happened is I do work, of course, for corporate America, and my job was doing a lot of centralization, reorganizing the company, different things of that sort. And the office that we did have in New Orleans was actually going to be one of the offices they would soon be closing. So what I had to do was make a conscious decision, and they gave us the opportunity to look into other offices, which was different states, and Dallas, Texas, was probably the closest state to home, because making that move, it was huge, because like I said, I've never been outside of New Orleans, Louisiana, outside of travel and things like that, but I have never lived away from home. So this was the closest that I could get to home, still have my job, and just try to start a new life.
Right. I got you. And so when I look at the bottles and the presentation, how did you come up with the logo? Because I think it's so cute.
To be honest, I did not come up with the logo. I have to give all kudos to Leroy Plummer. You can find him on Facebook under Leroy Plummer. And I researching, just networking again on Facebook, I was like, hey, I need a logo. Ran across his page. I told him my business name, and he created a logo for me within 24 hours.
Wow. Did you tell him like the colors?
I did. I incorporated black and gold because, of course, I, again, was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I wanted to just incorporate something that still felt like home. So my colors were black and gold, and I told him my colors, I told him my business name, and like I said, within 24 hours, he sent me a picture. We did a couple revisions on it, not necessarily the logo, just certain colors that I wanted moved or something lightened or darkened or things like that. But networking on Facebook, he's out there, and like I said, the turnaround time was 24 hours. He actually created it because he's a graphic designer, and I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing with the work that he does.
That's good. And so with you being a vendor, how do you pick the different events where you want to do the vendors? And sometimes, have you ever said no to being a vendor at a place?
The only time I probably say no is if I have to work on those particular days. But with the events, I mean, just like anything in life, you win some, you lose some. Right. I mean, I've gone to events where, I mean, I've paid as little as $25 and I've paid as much as $150, and I may not make $10. But the networking is good, and that's what I would tell a lot of people. I mean, don't look for the money all the time. You do have to get out there and network with other businesses, other vendors, other people, because that's how you grow. That's how you grow your business, because people know people, and a lot of the time it's all in who you know.
Okay. And so do you make your products fresh and new for those events? And like, if you do, what happens with that leftover product that people don't buy?
No, my vendor actually, the vendor that I work with, we worked to create the formula that I want.
Okay.
So I order product as needed. So I do keep product on hand, but I don't keep a lot of it unless it's an event where the event organizer tells me, hey, we're looking at 150 to 300 person turnout, or we're looking at a 2,000 to 3,000 person turnout. So then I know how much I need to order, or contact my vendor to say, hey, I need this, this, and this, and I need it shipped to me immediately. Or so yeah, they create, they do all the packaging and all the bottling and everything for me.
Oh, that's nice. So is it like a strategy that you chose that route versus having inventory on hand, or that's just how it just came about?
To be honest, that was a lesson that I learned from my bath bomb business. I was creating so many bath bombs at one time. Like, I still currently have inventory with bath bombs at home, and I don't even focus on that business anymore. So it's not necessarily a strategy, but it's enough to know how much I should keep on hand. And then as I pay for the events or as I book the events, I then take account of my inventory to see, hey, is this going to get me through this particular event or not, or should I just order some more to make sure I have enough? It's better to have more than not enough, but I try not to order too much.
Okay. And so there's 3 different scents?
I have 6.
You have 6?
Yes.
Okay. How did you come up with the names? Because I know I purchased the Ooh Zaddy. That's the popular one, right?
Yeah.
That one smelled really, really good. So how did you come up with the 6 different names, the formulas? How did you come up with the different products that you're selling?
Well, we'll start with the formulas first. Beard oil is nothing more than a lot of oils mixed together basically to moisturize or to keep the beard moisturized. You have where you can mix jojoba oil, you have peanut oils. You just have different any type of oil that you can get, you can basically mix it. So that's the main thing. The scent comes from the different types of essential oils that you mix together. So you really have to play with those and put it together to kind of come up with the scent that you want or that you like. So the way I came up with the names on them is as I created the scent, it was just the Ozaddy just brought me to that one where I was like, ooh. So I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be, because you think of course, where the name comes from, and then I was just like, oh, Zaddy. So that one just kind of flowed. It came natural. The Jamaican Zaddy Happy, that one kind of gives you the Jamaican smell, the pineapples, the coconuts, the one, like you're sitting on a beach, or so it brings you to that cooling out with a drink or something in your hand. We have I have Warrior, which is it's a very masculine scent, so it's kind of like for a fighter, for a warrior. I have Cowboy. Some of what's in that is maybe like a tobacco or something, essential oil. So it's kind of like it gives you that gunslinger, that cowboyish type scent, something that you would smell in maybe a saloon if you were there. I also have I have Cowboy Warrior.
It's okay. We can come back to it.
Okay. Oh my. Working Man. I'm sorry. Working Man. Yes, we have Working Man. That one, it was one that I struggled with, but because I have the other scents, it was just, I tried to keep them, I guess, on the same, with the same, not name, but just with having Jamaican Zaddy Happy, Ooh Zaddy, you have a Warrior, you have a Cowboy, and then you have your Working Man. So this is something where if he wants to just go to work or he wants to smell good going to work, you actually have that scent as well.
Every day.
Yeah, and then the other one is Independence. That one came from, it's just like you have a sense of freedom. You're just independent, and the scent. So I was just trying to keep them all in the same family. But
nice. Okay. And so me sitting down, talking to people who create products, they do a lot of research before, they get their products out there. What type of research did you do in regards to the beards? Because, a lot of people say, my product is going to make sure that your beard stays maintained and it's going to grow and stay full. What type of research did you do?
I actually did a lot of research and a lot of communication with my vendor. I gained a lot of knowledge from them, but outside of that, I also, of course, Google, even though it doesn't give us everything.
Right.
I did Google a lot in regards to what the beard needs to stay nourished, what keeps it maintained in regards to what type of combs should they use, what type of brush should they use. I also have a shampoo and conditioner. My shampoo has whey and protein in it that keeps the thickness and the fullness of the beards. You should maintain your beard just like any other hair on your head or whatever by keeping it clean, conditioned, and moisturized. So that is what my line of product do. They actually, once you clean it, you condition it, and then you moisturize your beard.
Nice. So just like a process. It just all
Yes.
goes along with it. Right? Okay. And so with you having your 9 to 5, like you mentioned, you're still working corporate, right?
Yes.
And then you have Zaddy Beards, and then you have your 2 kids. How are you balancing all 3 of those? Or even if it's a balance, how are you making it through?
I don't know. By prayer. That's really it, to be honest. I mean, I have to stay prayed up because it's, trying to get to work every day, deal with what I deal with on a daily basis, having to get home to make sure I keep up with, feeding the kids, making sure homework is done, doing different things, and just a lot of late nights. That is catered to Zaddy's Beards at that point. So, yeah, just faith and prayers, a lot of prayers, because other than that, I can't honestly tell you how I make it through.
I understand that. I get on my knees. I'm like, Lord, help me with this. And so, with that being stated, how do you take time for yourself? Because sometimes we do need that self-care. We need to sometimes fall back. Do you take time to yourself? So, I mean, with having kids, it's kind of hard from what I hear. I don't have any kids. But I know my mom, growing up, I never seen her take time herself. If anything, she would probably take me out shopping, and now it's her time for us to get out the house.
Yes.
So, what do you do?
I'm not gonna say it's balanced as of yet. I honestly cater to my kids more than anything. But to balance, I honestly don't. I don't. Everything is around my kids. I mean, my mom fuss all the time. She's like, "Oh, you need to do this," or "Oh, you need to do that." So it's just my world caters. It's around my kids. It just I try to take time here and there. It's a little bit easier now because I do have a 14-year-old,
Right.
Which my kids are 6 years apart. So I have a 7 and a 14-year-old. But with him being older, it is a little easier, and it's like, hey, mom's gonna take a ride here. I'm going to do this. I'll be right back. But yeah, there really is no balance because most of the time your kids are your world. But sometimes you just have to, even if it's late nights, like I said, if I have to put Zaddy's Beards to the side and just watch a movie or do something or whatever, you do still need that time. Every so often I tend to tell people, one, mothers, parents are like the Energizer bunnies. We keep going, but it also gets to that point to where it's almost like you are swimming, but you have to come up for air at times. So, you do so much. You do so much for your kids. You do so much for your jobs. If you're working 9 to 5s, then you do not take care of yourself. But there are times where you do have to come up for air before you can go back down and continue to do everything for everybody else. So like you said, self-care is real important with anything that you do. Anytime, if it's just an hour. So, whether it's me going get my nails done or get my eyebrows waxed or go to Walmart or whatever by myself, just that little time gives you just a refreshing moment to be able to go ahead and push through for whatever else you may have to face for that day, for that week, for that month or whatever.
That's really good. I love that analogy. That's so good. Okay, and so I know I've been to certain vendor expos, and I usually see the face of a man that sells the beard oils, right? For you, enter into this type of industry, have you had any backlash from men? Like, how do you know what's good for a man and you a woman? Have you had any people like give you a rebuttal? And if so, like, how do you deal with something like that?
I have not, but that's a crazy question to ask, because how does Steve Madden know what kind of shoes women want to wear?
How
does Michael Kors know what women want?
That's so true.
So, I mean, you take it, you put your pants on one leg at a time, and that's all I could do. I have not had any rebuttal. I actually ran into a lot of people that are amazed that I am a female entrepreneur with a male's product. Like I said, I've done a lot of research. I've had a lot of people test my product. So I really moved forward with it based on the feedback that I received from a lot of men. No, I don't have a beard, so I can't tell you how the product works, but I can send it to multiple people, or I can ask people to try it out for me and do different things. And from the responses that I get, it pushes me and it keeps me moving forward with the product that I do have, because I honestly know that I do have a great product based on the feedback that I get. So, I take it just like that. I mean, how does men know what we want?
That's true.
So, and I have a bunch of Steve Madden shoes and Michael Kors purses, so nothing against them. I'm just saying.
I'm with you on that. Okay, I have you something. But when we first met, I had asked you, and I was like, wow, it's like she's really running this with her children, a woman running a man product. And I thought that was like super inspiring. You don't see that on an everyday basis. So I think that's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so this next segment, I call it highs and lows. Everybody within the business, or outside of the business, with your kids, people have their highs like, oh my gosh, that was a great moment for me. I'm really excited. I put in this much work and I got the results, right? What would you say would be a high for you? This is your brag moment. Let's talk about it.
To be honest, I think my high is actually just starting my business, just getting it off the ground, running, and just being in this entrepreneur world. Just moving forward with my business.
Nice. And on the opposite end, have you had any lows that made you question, should I continue to do Zaddy Beards? Should I still put my 100% in this? Anything with the kids, anything like corporate, where you're like, I just want to walk away and just focus 100% on Zaddy Beards? Have you had any lows? And if so, what did you do to push past it to continue to do your business?
I have not, because I am, well, with the way you asked it, I honestly don't have any lows. I'm a go-getter, so it's just, if I do have that moment, like right now, I do have opportunities, and if that's what we want to consider lows, just trying to continue to build my brand, marketing, improving my social media followers, increasing my sales. A lot of those to me are still lows and still opportunity, but I would never give up on it, because one, it's a newer business, and I know that this is something that's popular. That's what's on the market. You don't come across too many men that don't have the beards. But again, it's just getting the marketing strategy to do what it needs to do, and just putting my product out there. And a lot of people see my logo, and I think a lot of people assume that this is a male-run business. But I think once they realize who the owner is and things like that, and not just to say, oh, because I'm a female, but I think that pushes a lot of people to